And so, like, what's your story? Like, where'd you come from? How'd you get to where you are? Like, what steps for people out there who's like, dang, I strive to be a creative person just like Cam. Like, how can they do it as well?
Yeah, so
That's deep.
one winter in January in 1989, two people met and they decided to, have an adult. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to mom and dad. But so from Wichita, Kansas, I grew up right here. I always was the young, curious guy who had a desire for storytelling, for working in the entertainment industry, but I didn't know at what capacity. I was an extrovert, introvert. Out in public, I was the
like me.
overachiever. Yeah. I was class president. I was a dancer. I played soccer. I was in debate. I was in music. I was in choir. I did theater. I was just like that guy who was just out doing a lot, but I really wanted to find myself. Mm-hmm. I knew at a really young age that I was struggling with my sexuality. I knew that I was struggling with my identity. I knew that I was questioning what it meant to be a black man in this country, let alone a black man in a small town like Wichita, Kansas. So those different type of things really led me to want to seek things that made me feel like me. And so I definitely was out trying to discover myself through different verticals, through different mediums of art, creative. At home, I would lock myself in my room. I used to get in trouble. It's weird. I would almost get on punishment for being in my room too much. So my punishment was coming out of my room. But I was just the kid who was just watching so many movies and so many different TV shows because I was so curious about the world. Because as a black gay man in Kansas, there wasn't a lot that I feel like I had to really learn about myself or other people or other cultures or other walks of life. Because it can be very small-minded, bubble. Everybody kind of do the same thing. Or black young boys are told that they have to be one thing. So
I know your brothers. They very masculine men.
I'm gonna get to them. I'm gonna get to them. But no, but to your point about my brothers, I am the younger brother of the former NFL player Albert Mack, who is also a Wichita native, and. I'm so proud of everything that he was able to accomplish in his career and with sports, and being able to make the mark that he made and to be the person that he is today. But that had a huge impact on my development because I had someone in my household who literally became the person that I knew I did not want to be as it pertains to the sports of it all. Because it's like, I so badly did not want to be compared to so many other boys or told there had to be one thing, but it made it that much more challenging when your brother literally is the person that everybody is trying to tell you that you need to be, or you need to act like, you need to talk like, you need to, look at his footsteps, look at the path that he's paving. He's showing you as a black man how to be successful in this city and in the world. And I'm like, that's the complete opposite. So I almost feel like a lot of my desires were rebelling from the beliefs and the different type of societal pressures that people put on me because of my older brother. And my younger brother too, as an elder to another black man, then I started to kind of feel as if but it's now also my responsibility to be a good role model to him. And I don't want my sexuality or the things that I'm doing to be impressionable on him where people are blaming me for why he made, all of these things that were just stupid that I was thinking of that was just all in my head. But I say all that to say, I say all that to say that my family dynamic was really great, and everybody had an impact and an impression on making me become the person I am in a really, really positive way. And those desires that I had from being a storyteller and that curiosity of wanting to work in the entertainment industry, it just led me to just going for it. I started modeling at 10 years old. I started dancing really young. I started doing theater really early. I can see how everything that I went through in my childhood played a huge part into who I am now, the sports and playing soccer and running track.
Multi-talented.
But all of that had a purpose. The debate taught me how to be better with public speaking and getting confidence, which goes into my job now. Obviously the arts, doing things like choir and theater, that all that's pretty clear. But it all may not have made sense to me and everybody at the time, but now I look back and I'm so grateful for all the different things that I did, because I would not be the like you said, multifaceted or multi-passionate person that I am today. But to fast forward through everything, and I just stayed the course on wanting to be a storyteller. Thought I was going to be pre-law. I thought I was going to do entertainment law. That's how I was going to use my talents as a public speaker. But I really quickly realized after doing some internships that wasn't what I wanted to do. And then I transitioned to broadcast journalism, to doing more news focus, commentary, and just, work. And then I doubled down even more. It's like, I don't want to just do the news. I don't want to just be a journalist. I want to be an entertainment journalist. And I want to, do what I saw the hosts and the disc jockeys on MTV doing, and E! News and all those different things. And fast forward through college, and that's what got me to New York. I started at MTV and VH1 through a really great program called IRTS, which gave me my start. So I was a little protege. And once I graduated from the University of Kansas, it was honest. I mean, I moved to New York a week later. I knew I had the internship my senior year of college, so I was one of those kids that thankfully was able to enjoy college because I knew I already had a gold ticket waiting on me at the end of graduation.
Willy Wonka, huh?
Yeah, and shout out to them. I just did a Willy Wonka campaign.
Come on now!
Timothy
Yeah, it was. It wasn't. He wasn't the talent for it. We used creators, but yeah, it was a campaign that I worked on with work. But yeah, and then just once I got to New York, working at like companies like MTV, VH1, I just started to do more. Started like wanting to learn as much as I can about different types of TV. So I worked at. I did the VMAs. I was doing reality shows. I was doing dating shows.
I think I've seen some of them.
Yeah, it was so. I went to Cincinnati for a couple months and did a show with Nick and Drew Lachey, and then flew to Atlanta and did like a black female ensemble, kind of like Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta Housewives type show. So my resume, it's pretty all over the place. But I just really wanted to learn different types of TV. I wanted to know how different type of television was made, and and then I transitioned eventually to being on air again at Revolt and doing more or balancing the on air stuff with MTV, and then I ended up at Complex, and I'm speaking through a lot. And at Complex, I was doing everything from producing, directing, and hosting, and then eventually Will and Jada Pinkett Smith announced their production company, Westbrook Media.
Yep.
I literally dropped everything and said, "That's the company I want to work for." I'm moving to LA. And here we are today.
Damn.
Wow.
We really deserve a round of applause.
Yeah, that's a hell of a journey.
Obviously, I skipped over a lot, but yeah.
No, but
yeah.
I'm going to let you talk, I swear. But
hey, you're good.
I'm going to take it back to, as a young black man.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and this part of the story really hit me too. Growing up as a young black man, they only teach you a few ways out the hood.
Right.
You gotta sit here and be a dude that play with balls and go to basketball, football, do that. Or you gotta fiddle with mics, rap, do this, production, beats. And then the other way, the least path that black men take statistically, is go to college, do all that. Scholars. But you gotta get scholarships by doing the first two or whatever.
Right.
And so, I commend you on that, because that's just, how do you find your passion how you did, and come from somebody who wanted to be different and all of that.
Yeah.
Because, me, I'm I played professional basketball, still do, but it's after all this is said and done, what the hell is my passion?
Yeah.
When I gotta put it down, I don't think I want to coach. I don't think I want to do too much with basketball. But I see you doing your Complex and all of that stuff. And I'm like, damn, that is dope as hell. You living the dream. So you got anything you want to say? I'm just saying, that's just.
No, were you going into something like a question?
No. I just wanted to state that. So
also, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I was gonna say too, for those that are in that same situation out there, what got you on the path less traveled? Was it just dedication? Was it certain skills you had, or did you just keep on pushing through?
Yeah, I know it's gonna sound cliche, but I knew at a really, really young age that there was something special in me. And I think that there's something special in everybody.
Sure.
Like, whatever that is looks different for every single person. But I knew really, really early, like, I mean, as early as, like, almost elementary school,
Really?
I felt like that there was a greater purpose for my life, right? And although I may not have understood or knew what exactly that was, I always believed that there was something different about me, and there was something that I was put on this earth to do. And so as I started to really, again, to try to unpack certain layers and to explore myself, the communities that I was in, the opportunities and resources that were accessible to me, I just really tried to make sure that, like, with everything that I was doing, I tried to understand, like, the why of it all. Like, you know, why do I want to do this? Am I doing this because my family's telling me you should do this, or am I doing this because I actually enjoy it? Am I doing this because I think that it may look good one day to a college recruit or whatever, you know?
Yeah, the motivation.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of L's. I definitely did a lot of stuff where I'm just like, probably could have skipped that part, or kind of, didn't really need to go through some of the hardships of that chapter, but it all kind of like ladders up to just the journey that we're all on. But I would say that, oh goodness, I'm not gonna get emotional. I would say, like,
Do as you please.
My stepdad was really, really he played a big vital role in that, because my stepdad was the first person and the first black male, just male, period, that I feel like validated what I always knew was inside of me, of like, there's something special. Yeah. I was playing football. I know, believe it or not. I was doing the routine of just like, okay, when I get to this age, I was told I have to play football now, like my brother did, and just, the cycle of, like, in Wichita, this is what boys do. At this age, you do this. By this age, you do that. And I remember my stepdad one day, just out of the blue, was just like, you don't play football, do you? And I was just like, so shocked that he asked me, because even in the black community, kids don't get a lot of choices.
Yeah.
If your parents tell you playing football or doing this, you just
You're
do
doing
it.
it.
You don't have to.
So the fact that he even asked me that was so just like monumental, because I'm like, wait, you're actually asking me what I want? And I was like,
wow.
I think I was maybe 9 or 10, because I started modeling like right after that. And I remember being like, you mean I have a choice on what I want to do and who I want to be?
That's powerful.
And he said, you don't want to play football, do you? And I said, no. And then I remember he looked at me and he said, I don't want you to think that you have to be your brother, And him saying that, it was this huge sigh of relief, because I was just like, I didn't even realize as a kid how much of that I was carrying,
But that was like such a huge thing.
It was such a huge thing. And after that, I really feel like I was able to tap into something that I don't think I would have been able to tap into, because I still would have been so afraid of the pressure of not wanting to disappoint somebody, most importantly disappoint myself.
Yeah.
And so I started, like, my mom and my dad started putting me into modeling really quickly, and so that kind of made me feel like, okay, I will be the one black dude who's modeling, which I know people don't, have something to say about it. Which there was a lot of adults that I even overheard making comments about me when I quit football at 10 years old. It was a big deal.
That's
but
sad.
my parents really protected me, and we were able to just unapologetically just say, hey, this is the path we're putting him on. This is the path that we're going, and
mind your business.
And and that's just what it was. And so so I started modeling, I started dancing, I started getting more confidence being in plays and doing theater and stuff, and still, like I said, running track and playing soccer, and still, I'm like, just because I want to do this stuff don't mean that I can't be just as excited about the athletic stuff. And then eventually over time, that confidence just continued to build, and then I started to go, okay, what would a career look like? And the other big moment in my life was understanding that whatever it is that I was going to do, I knew that I wanted it to be impactful to people in the black and brown community who are, like, under, like, marginalized communities, specifically the queer community, because I started to tell myself, I just want to be a role model and a reflection of who I feel like I may have needed that I did not have. Once I started looking at my life and the opportunities that were ahead of me with my career like that, everything just became clear. And although I didn't necessarily know what exactly was the title I was aspiring for, like, if I would have had this conversation at 17, I would have never said one day I'll be a filmmaker. I never would have said I would have been a director or a producer. Because at that point, I was either going to be, like I said, an attorney, or I was going to be just a journalist.
Yeah.
But now, like, I wear those titles with so much pride, because I feel like I found my real true passion and my purpose. And again, just to close the loop, had it not been for my dad in that moment at a really young age, and then for me being able to understand that I had an opportunity to make an impact on communities that looked like me, that contained people like me, that changed everything.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. Really is. I mean, I can see why you guys are friends in that way too. That's how he is, and you guys are just good people. So
You're good people too.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we homies now. We
Yeah,
family.
heck yeah.